Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today I have the good fortune to be interviewing Nick Sonnenberg from getleverage.com. Nick is a serial entrepreneur with a passion for creating companies that disrupt the way people live. Now, we hear the word disrupt a lot on the Sharkpreneur show, so I can't wait to dive in and see what Nick's interpretation of that is. Nick's work has been featured in Fox, Fortune, New York Times, Time, Mashable, Huffington Post, NPR, and many, many, many other places. Nick, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure. I'm going to ask you first to go back in time a little bit. I know that Leverage wasn't your first business venture. I believe you started out in the wonderful world that I come from on Wall Street. Can you take us back in time a little bit?
Yeah, so just rolling it back, maybe let's say 10 to 15 years here. I got my master's in financial engineering from Berkeley and went onto Wall Street for 8 years as a high frequency algorithmic trader, which basically means I was creating algorithms and math formulas to trade stocks at super high frequencies like microseconds, all purely automated, and trying to capture fractions of a penny, but over large volume. So, at a young age, I was controlling, billions of dollars of cash for the bank that I was doing this for. And purely math-based. I had no idea about the companies that I traded, but that was a really cool career. I was in Asia for 3 years, and then I was doing it in the US for 5, and then got the itch to be an entrepreneur. I went on a vacation with one of my friends. I didn't even know what it meant. And I always thought that I had the coolest job because, millionaire by mid-20s, 16 computer screens at one point, managing billions of dollars, it all sounded cool. And then we went on this trip and he was working on his laptop having a pina colada. And that kind of just stuck at me, that I didn't have the coolest job. He had the coolest job and I got jealous of him. So then I kind of went on this journey of, learning about what it meant to be an entrepreneur, and I had some ideas. And one day it took me about a year to build up the confidence. And then one day after a year, I took the leap and launched a startup called Calvin, which happened before Leverage, which was basically still in the productivity space, but it was a way to make plans more efficiently. It takes about 7.2 back and forth for 2 people to find a time to meet. So I was kind of helping to solve that problem. And then during that process of doing Calvin, I had to experience hiring people off of these platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. And I found out how painful it was to hire freelancers. And there was this opportunity that arose. A large virtual assistant company went under, and was having dinner with my ex-business partner, and we brainstormed, what's missing in the market? Why did this company go bankrupt? What were my pain points with having to use these platforms for Calvin? And by the end of dinner, had an idea that was going to disrupt kind of the way virtual assistants and outsourcing platforms were run. And with my background in tech and some of his connections, I told him, if you can get 5 clients tomorrow, I can build a system and we were up the next day. I had 5 clients, and it was just a little side project that kind of blew up without really thinking about it.
Okay, so you said a lot in that short answer. So if the longer version, if it hasn't, should probably fill a book, because there's a whole lot there that we don't have time to go into.
And it did fill a book called Idea to Execution.
Okay, awesome. All right,
talk about the long answer.
All right, perfect. That's the long answer, is read the book. Awesome, which we will certainly drive our viewers and our listeners to go get. Okay, so Wall Street, grass was greener on the other side of the I don't need 16 screens to trade. I can be on my laptop with a pina colada in a beach. So just out of curiosity, what business was he in?
My ex-business partner?
No, the friend that you saw.
Oh, my friend with the pina colada. He was doing a tech startup with affiliate marketing. So he was doing some affiliate marketing arbitrage.
Okay. And then high frequency trading, for the folks who don't know, they can read about in Michael Lewis's book, Flash Boys, which is a awesome pseudo documentary of what was part of your life.
Yep.
Okay. So you decided to take the leap because you liked the idea he could work from a laptop on a beach as opposed to being tied to the monitors in the markets.
Yeah, and ultimately what I realized, even though the money was great, ultimately, like, what's the whole point of making money? And for me, then I had this realization, it's to have freedom ultimately, and money gives you, to some degree, some parts of freedom. But you know what he had, he didn't have a boss. He could go work wherever he wanted, work on whatever he wanted, and make the financial freedom. So when I kind of realized that, then I kind of realized, well, I'm only getting partial freedom and I wanted full freedom.
Awesome. And how did you pick the first business idea?
I think that most businesses should come from some type of personal pain point. So leverage sparked out of a personal pain point. Calvin, funny enough, I don't really talk about it, but when I broke up with my ex-fiance, I found myself making a lot of plans, so to speak.
Because she wasn't your social secretary anymore.
Well, yeah, and I needed to keep myself busy. So I was making a lot of dates, and I just found like it wasn't really efficient, the process of scheduling. So that kind of was like the initial trigger. And then after kind of digging into it a bit more, I realized that it was kind of a big problem, not like dating, but just making plans in general.
Yes.
Was a really annoying process.
A lot of emails back and forth, which was invented the online calendar, but it sounds like Calvin was a better way to accomplish that than just one person sending their link to somebody else and hoping they can pick a time.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not gonna like meet a girl at a bar and be like, hey, go to my Calendly booking and like find a time.
Very true. Very excellent point.
And also, like, Outlook already had some of the functionality that Calvin was approaching. Kind of, if you're in a company, you could see when your colleagues were free and busy, and like it would suggest times for groups to get together. But there was nothing for a social setting that kind of had that functionality. So Calvin kind of pulled in your friends' calendars. You didn't see the details of it, but then it would suggest, based on the free busy of your friends, some suggested times for dinner versus lunch versus breakfast versus coffee.
That is very cool. And we could have used that at the last conference we attended to coordinate with people. Is Calvin still around?
No. So, I shut it down after Leverage. It was picking up a bit of success. It was featured at Twitter's conference. But I'm a big believer in following the money, and Leverage, which was just a side hustle hobby, it started generating some pretty decent revenue. And the play with Leverage, it was going to be a long road, even though I really still, even to this day, believe in what we were building. You know, you really have to get a large amount of users, and then, you know, the data becomes valuable at a certain point, versus this business, you know, it was generating money kind of from day one. It had some really nice growth numbers. So I didn't want to spread myself too thin. So I picked the one that I felt was most promising.
That makes total sense. Okay. So talk to us a little bit about where Leverage is now.
Yeah.
You've had some incredible growth rates.
Yeah. And honestly, even though the growth rates, which I'll share, sound impressive, I think it actually hurt us looking back at it. I think that premature growth, what I've learned, can actually hurt you. But a lot of people kind of celebrate things like growth rate and revenue and number of team members and things like that. And I think that actually focusing on some of those, I've had to spend the last year kind of putting a pause on marketing to clean up some of the premature growth. But, we bootstrapped it in a day, ended up, still to this day, haven't raised any money. Our first year we did $1 million of revenue, built it to over 100 people on the team. So now, we've kind of doubled that, but what I'm more impressed with isn't kind of the revenue or profit numbers. It's really what I've been focused on is the retention, which kind of signifies the quality of the service. So, when you grow too fast, you, just like in development, if you cut corners, you have what you call technical debt. And what I realized was, if you grow too fast, you're gonna have some operational debt, and you're gonna have, no matter what the debt is, you have to pay back the debt at some point. So we've chosen this last year to kind of pay back operational debt, focus on quality of service, internal efficiencies. So kind of, even though a lot of people like to get impressed by revenue or growth, I'm most proud in the last 3 years of doubling our retention this last year.
That's absolutely incredible. So who is an ideal client for Get Leverage, and what would be the elevator pitch in terms of why they should sign up?
Yeah, so our ideal client is a small business owner, entrepreneur, has a small team. Maybe they're doing somewhere between $500,000 to $10 million a year of revenue, right? Because we're servicing people that value their time more than money. And what we do is we make it really easy for entrepreneurs and small business owners to scale their team in a cost efficient, and overall just a really efficient way. So instead of making the commitment of a W-2 employee or going to one of these platforms like Upwork or Fiverr, where you have to sort through, hundreds of thousands of freelancers, we just make it super easy, with no commitment, month to month. You sign up. Well, actually, there's a minimum commitment. So you commit to at least $300 a month of service that resets. So if you don't use 300, you lose it. But we give you this team of 100 vetted people, copywriters, designers, sales funnel experts, people to document and automate your processes, book your travel, build you a website. Literally, so anything that falls into the buckets of admin, marketing, operations. And we give you this team of 100 vetted people. So one, we make it really easy so that you're not sorting through, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people. Two, we help with the coordination. So when you're on these websites, you typically have to hire multiple people. Like if you want to build a website, you need to have a copywriter for the copy, a designer, a web developer. So we have all the people under one umbrella. So we handle all the coordination. But then probably the most important is, they're high quality people. So you can kind of rest assured that you're not going to get a bad apple. And if you're never not happy, you're dealing with a company and you're not fighting with someone overseas or some random freelancer. So that's my other long-winded answer to who we're servicing.
Okay. We have a friend and client in common, Sally Hogshead from Fascinate. Are you allowed to talk a little bit about what you were able to help her with?
I wouldn't talk about that without her permission. But,
okay, fair enough.
Sally is an awesome person.
Yes, she is. And she was with us in San Diego.
I was with her in San Diego too.
Yes. All right. Hi, Sally. All right. So let's talk about a hypothetical case study.
Sure.
So, or someone you do have permission to discuss.
I can talk about myself because I'm a client of the service myself.
Perfect. So what did you use your service for and how did it work?
Right. So the reason why we're called leverage is I'm trying to find ways for people to get more leverage. So where can you invest a minimal amount of time and get some output that would have taken a significant amount of time? So a lot of virtual assistant companies, they're doing simple things like booking dinner reservations or something that maybe it takes you a minute to explain and it takes them 2 minutes to do. So you're only kind of saving like 1 minute. So I'm always trying to identify the best tasks that our clients do, or where can they kind of invest a minimum amount of their time and money, but get something where they're getting a high return. So for instance, when I'm in a taxi, I will use the audio recorder on my phone to brain dump content. So I'm a writer for Inc. So in the taxi, I'll, maybe just brain dump 5 or 10 minutes in a time period where it's low productive time. Like in a cab, I can't use my laptop and stuff. And then I'll just send that to one of the ghostwriters at Leverage. And next thing I know, I have a Inc. article published and posted on all the social media, right? sometimes I even take that to the next level, and I'll just have an idea for a topic, and then I'll introduce the ghostwriter to the subject matter expert, and then they'll create the ink article. So that's even like more leverage than the audio recorder, because it only takes me 30 seconds to do that intro. So things like that are things that I like. I give talks, so I'll have them design the presentation and PowerPoint slides for talks. I've used them to build internal automations. We're big Slack users, so we've built Slack bots for people and for ourselves, websites. One client asked us to ship breast milk to Mexico, which was an interesting one.
Wow.
We've helped people find renters for their house, but typically we're becoming a little bit more business focused. So we're doing like a lot of launches, like book launches, course launches, marketing strategy. We do a lot of podcast production. I have a podcast, the Leverage podcast that they produce. Books.
Those are great examples.
We've done some books as well.
Awesome. It sounds like a fascinating opportunity. We will certainly take a look at it for our own business and drive our listeners and viewers there as well. Where is the best place for our folks to go to learn more about Leverage and, of course, to get a copy of the book? So the website is getleverage.com. And upcoming, I have a new book coming out called Come Up for Air, which I'm really proud of. I think it's going to change the way teams within companies operate. It's really about team productivity rather than individual productivity, and meant for the team member and manager, not just the CEO and founder. So that new book's going to be coming out in the next few months. The first book is called Idea to Execution. My podcast is the Leverage Podcast. And those are the ways to find me at getleverage.com. Awesome. All right. This has been Seth Greene here with Nick Sonnenberg. Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we will talk to you next time. Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.